almost feels like some kind of mass hypnosis or brainwashing. After two of the liars have been attacked by Bloody Rose, the girls are ready to take matters into their own hands. The first step is confronting Dr. Sullivan after finding out that she used to be Rose Waters' therapist. Apparently they got connected with her for group therapy thanks to a recommendation from Deputy Maroon after Sullivan volunteered her services. What if she's using everything they say against them as Bloody Rose? Tabby and Imogen end up sneaking into Sullivan's office and going through her files, where we get a huge Easter egg to the original series as we see the files for Arya, Hannah, Spencer, and Emily. Was anyone else screaming? We also see that Imogen found her own file, and there are full transcriptions from all her sessions and a digital recorder. This is illegal because you can't record someone's therapy sessions without their consent. And then when the girls confront her about it, she claims she's writing a book. She believes their stories as survivors could help other women. At this point, it's looking like Dr. Sullivan is another red herring. She's not Bloody Rose, and neither is Rose Waters, but she is trying to profit off their trauma. As much as I'm having so much fun with this series, I do gotta say, none of them really have lies. Season 1 was focused on the secrets that the moms had that impacted their daughters, but this season the moms aren't really present. Tabby and Imogen are being called liars by Chip's mom, but she's a lunatic. Sure, Faran lied about not being allowed to dance, but the only one who really is telling lies right now is Noah, as she keeps cheating on Sean with Jen. I just don't like that played out stereotype that they're diving into about bisexual characters not being able to make decisions or cheating on their partners. It just feels very outdated, and I feel like if anything, it has me not rooting for Noah. This episode, Noah is also Bloody Rose's latest target. She goes to the trails at dusk and is instructed to walk on a path of roses with no shoes on. I was like, girl, they didn't say you had to take off your socks too. But she goes through with the challenge, and the roses all have thorns on them, so it hurts her feet. There's a dog chasing after her. I just feel like this, to me, was one of the weaker challenges. Walk on a path of thorny roses. Like, I get it, Bloody Rose, but I think they could have done it in a different way if Jen and Noah were off into the woods hooking up and she had to get away because Sean was coming, and then it slowly turned into this path with thorny roses that she's stepping on, and she's like, wait, is this really happening? Am I having some kind of hallucination? Why is all of this here? Something like that I think could have been a little bit more interesting. Instead, I just kept thinking just don't walk on the roses. I just feel like I wanted to see her put into more of a situation where she's forced into something, and this just felt a little bit lackluster. You know what else I would have loved to see? Maybe that'll happen in a future episode. What if the girls hatch a plan where the person who's being targeted, like Noah, shows up, and then the other girls trap Bloody Rose? I'm like, why have they not tried that yet? Everyone just keeps going off on their own. Then Jen ends up being the one to find Noah, and it's how did she end up here? How did you know where she was? I just don't trust Jen. Meanwhile, Faran is drifting further away from Henry and closer to Greg? Hear me out. It's felt like pretty much everyone in this town besides our little liars are part of this weird church. Henry convinces Faran to come check it out, come to a youth group session, see what it's all about. There's some positive things going on there, some apologies, and Kelly even suggests hey, join us at Redemption House. It's all going decently well until Greg kind of gives a little bit more insight. He reveals that he's not part of this special inner circle that's going to all these secret meetings, but Henry and Kelly are. So Faran goes to check it out, and she sees that the members of this group are doing this weird praising in a room that seemed honestly very similar to what we saw at the very beginning of this episode on Spooky Spaghetti, with people praising Bloody Rose. It was weird, it was random. I think they could have gone further with it, to be honest. But let's just say Henry and Faran are over, and this really is looking like a cult now. Speaking of Spooky Spaghetti, like I said, I feel like there was some interesting parallels between the praising in this secret cult and the praising that we got to see of Bloody Rose on Spooky Spaghetti. We even seen Mouse's grandma watching the reckoning of Bloody Rose online, and all these people are in a group together cutting their heads. Even Mouse's grandma cut her head. It almost feels like some kind of mass hypnosis or brainwashing, bringing people into this cult of some sort. Imogen has a more family-centric storyline this episode after confronting Dr. Sullivan. Her dad shows up at the Millwood Creamery and wants to reconnect, which seems like it could be really great, but then he drops a bomb on her that he's actually engaged. So she and Johnny end up going to dinner to meet with her father and his new fiance, and she sees that this fiance, Rebecca, is wearing the ring that her father had given to her mother. Granted, it was an heirloom from his side of the family. Imogen loses it. She threatens to cut off this woman's finger. She's like, never reach out to me ever again. She came across a little bit nuts to me, but Johnny seemed much more understanding. And honestly, I think this is being done to question Imogen's stability. You know, they have also been dropping these hints of like, okay, what about this medication that Imogen is taking that Dr. Sullivan gave her? I think they're trying to make us question her stability as like a narrator. We also get a little bit more background on Johnny's story. He talks about how his dad sucks too, and, you know, asks about Imogen's mom. It makes me wonder, who is Johnny's dad? We don't know Johnny's last name. Could this be a hint to make us question him, or just another red herring? I don't know. And then Tabby and Kristen have to think outside the box when the AC breaks down at the Orpheum, messing with their annual Friday the 13th marathon. They end up taking over the abandoned Camp Millwood to host the screening, and Wes makes his return being even more of a jerk than usual. He questions Tabby about being offered an opportunity to submit another film at PIFT. He talks about how she only is getting to do that because of the lack of diversity and how white, straight men have it much harder nowadays. Ooh, he was tested my nerves. Although it does make me question if he could be a suspect on our list of Who is Bloody Rose, because most of the liars are women of color. What do you have against us, dude? Noah said what we're all thinking this episode. What did we do to deserve this? I still need more. Like, I need to know, why is Bloody Rose doing this? Because we don't have an answer there yet, it's making some of these challenges feel a little bit lackluster, because I feel like we still don't know what Bloody Rose's goal is other than seeing who's the ultimate final girl. Walk on thorny roses, do better, Rose. I gotta say, I think this was one of my least favorite episodes because of that. I just feel like they could have gone so much further with Bloody Rose's challenges and even with the cult. But in terms of theories, okay, I've been thinking a little bit more about this really cool poster and the rumors that this season is supposed to be focused more on Tabby as the final girl. She's also like the one liar who would care about something like that. It made me think, like, could she be hiding the ultimate lie, being Bloody Rose? It is a bit of a reach, and I do think with her horror expertise that she would come up with much cooler challenges. I feel like there could also be more around Imogen's mom, since she's the one who really kicked off this entire series in Original Sin. And we keep seeing references and flashbacks to her. Could she be Bloody Rose? Could she have a secret twin that's Bloody Rose? There's also the fact that fans have noticed that Bloody Rose and Kelly are wearing the same necklace. Could this mean it's her? Or is this necklace connected to that cult church? Or even more so, could it be Karen or Mrs. Beasley? Or, okay, this is crazy. What if Mrs. Beasley has brainwashed Kelly so that when she's, you know, going about her normal day, she's Kelly, but when she blacks out, she wakes up as Karen parading around as Bloody Rose? Right? I don't know. Could be out of left field, could be going off the rails here, but it's just something to think about. I want to hear your thoughts. What do you think is going on? Who is Bloody Rose? Let me know your theories. Consider subscribing if you like this video and get even more entertainment news at popcultureplanet.net. See ya!